Okay, I think I'm live on air now. I got the chills right now. Alright, hello everybody, it's Zach, and I am here about to have a discussion on S-Man?
Hello?
Ah, I'm actually on my first live stream right now. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing fine. I'm considerably nervous right now, actually. Concerned that I've obviously never done this before. So yeah, got the chills.
Uh, don't worry. When I did my first live hangout, I was kind of nervous as well.
Was that with Owen Macdonald, by the way?
Yeah, it was almost 4 hours though.
What was the issue that day?
We were discussing feminism, and it was pretty interesting because there were some parts we did agree about other topics. It did get quite off the rails at times, but for the most part, it was a good discussion. So that's one thing I respect him on.
Yeah, and I think I might come off as a little bit disrespectful towards him on 3 videos that I responded to him on. But I do have some respect for the guy because at least he is willing to debate his points, whereas I know of people who don't want to even give their opposition the light of day, like Kyle Kalinske of Secular Talk. I don't know if you have ever heard of him.
I can't say I am familiar with him.
What? You haven't heard of Kyle Kalinske?
Well, I have heard of him, but I'm not too familiar with the guy.
Oh, yeah, well, there's this one other guy. He runs a channel called Tasteless Opinion. That's literally the name of his channel, and he did a pretty good job of exposing the guy because I guess there was some audio of the program of Secular Talk that he did not post on YouTube, where he originally offers a debate to Steven Crowder of Louder with Crowder. You heard of him, right?
A little bit.
But yeah, Kyle Kalinske first offers a debate, but then he goes back and down, saying, "I never offered a debate." But then Tasteless Opinion obviously exposes the lies that Kyle Kalinske is trying to sell, and later on he just goes on, "I'm not going to debate Ben Shapiro. I'm not going to debate Steven Crowder because they're preposterous human beings." As he does a snarky laugh after saying such a thing, like
Yeah.
Kalinske is really an arrogant, cowardly schmuck.
Yeah.
And I don't know of how many of my past videos that you've seen, but there's another video where I got talking about one of his older videos, like a couple years back. He goes criticizing Pat Robertson, a televangelist, fairly well-known televangelist, for encouraging his listeners not to debate atheists. Being like, why would you bother with those people? And Kyle Kalinske gets on Pat Robertson's case for not wanting to debate atheists, and says that it's because Pat Robertson and his listeners are a bunch of cowards why they wouldn't want to debate them. But then fast forward to present time, Kyle Kalinske is pulling the exact same tactic. So my point is, I have some respect for Owen Macdonald, at least in that area, as compared to Kyle Kalinske.
Yeah, at least he'll have a debate. I debated him a second time. It was on the death penalty. I don't know what your thoughts are on capital punishment, but we did hold a debate there.
Yeah, I say definitely on serial killers and serial rapists that I think it should be allowed. On children, I'm kind of hesitant to think on that. I mean, anyone who is like younger than 13, because even though it's rare and few and far in between, there's still those very young pieces of crap who will murder somebody.
Yeah. It actually is illegal to execute anyone under the age of 18. It's been that way since 2005. I think Roper versus Simmons, I may have had that case name wrong, but ever since then it's been illegal to execute anyone under age 18. As for before then, it was in another case Congress in 1988, they said anyone under 16 couldn't be executed. Before then, I guess anyone. I don't know if there was an age limit before then, but the youngest person I think to be executed in the 20th century was like 14, and it turns out he was innocent. So, but I think if you're able to kill someone on purpose and you're able to plan that, then I think you should be facing a potential death penalty. I'm in favor of due process, though. I think that's important, of course.
Right, and that's kind of the debate behind the death penalty, is that there's the possibility on you executing the wrong person, and plus it's expensive to get the jury in to decide whether or not X person should be executed.
Yeah, there are some states I think that have don't have a jury box. Like I think in Texas they have a couple courtrooms where there's no jury box, and I always wondered if that was legal, but I guess it probably doesn't offend the Constitution. And the weird thing was with the debate with Owen on capital punishment, his video about capital punishment, he's bringing up Trump and everything, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but it's like there's this thing called checks and balances. When Trump tried to put his, and I put in quotation marks, Muslim ban, that was twice thrown out as unconstitutional, so it's not as if he could just do whatever he wants. I personally didn't support Trump, but, you know.
Yeah, I know. You're pretty vocal on how you have a distaste for Trump. Honestly, I at first, of course, I had a little bit more of a black and white view on the world when he first announced his presidency, and so I thought Donald Trump was not too bad. I mean, I knew from the start that he was a pretty inarticulate man, but then later on down the road, we got to the later days of the Republican presidential primaries. It's when I really started to dislike the man, like spreading lies about how Rafael Cruz Jr., Ted's dad, helped Lee Harvey Oswald assassinate JFK, and smearing Heidi Cruz, or just getting on Ted Cruz's family in general. Like, the later parts of the primary just became a big personality contest, in my opinion. And the thing is, if I wanted to vote for somebody based purely on their personality, I would rather vote in the Miss America pageant if it's going to be based on personality. I mean, Ted Cruz, he does kind of come off as a little smarmy and smug, I guess. But I supported him over Trump purely based on policy. And, of course, another choice that I would prefer over Trump would be Rand Paul. I mean, he's a pretty good guy, pretty pro-liberty senator himself. If it was between Rand Paul and Ted Cruz, I would have a harder time making my choice between Ted Cruz and Donald Trump. It was Ted Cruz all the way.
Yeah, the only problem with Ted Cruz was he wasn't. People were saying there would be no way he'd be president because he wasn't born in the United States. I'm not entirely sure, but there was people saying that he was born on a military base up in Canada. I can't remember. It's been a while since I have had Ted Cruz in my head. I could be wrong on that, but you know.
Well, I'm not so sure. I mean, I could be wrong, but yeah, it's quite a complicated issue. I can't even get into it without being totally mixed up in the weeds of the circumstance of Ted Cruz's citizenship. Originally, he had like dual citizenship. Then it was like somewhere halfway down the primary, he like denounced his the Canadian part of his dual citizenship. Out of curiosity, by the way, something that I kind of wanted to ask you at your last live stream, but then didn't really get a chance. I mean, you're an anti-SJW, which means you really dislike Hillary Clinton. You said that you're not a socialist, and in fact, you're a capitalist, so I don't presume that you're a Bernie supporter. You are very vocal about your distaste for Donald Trump. And I'm kind of doubtful that you might have supported Ted Cruz as well, but did you support like Rand Paul during the primary, or who did you support?
Honestly, when it came to all the candidates, I wasn't entirely sure. Like, I'll be honest. Like when it comes to Donald Trump, even though I have a distaste for him. Like I'm personally considering going in the military. So when I'm older, so I'm
Ah,
just like making sure like I'm not gonna like insult him on appearance or name call him. I don't think criticism counts as bad mouthing him. But um, at first last year, around April of last year, I kind of was a Bernie supporter. But when I started looking into other candidates, to be fair, and I kind of lost. Didn't really support him. As for any candidate, there was one from my state, and I kind of was leaning towards him, Evan McMullen. He was in the CIA, and it didn't seem like he doesn't have any controversies. He's not. He does. I wasn't entirely sure if he's more experienced to be president than Clinton or any of them, but I would. The answer, I guess, short answer would be Evan McMullen.
really? I
Yeah,
vote for Evan as well.
yeah.
Hashtag never Trump.
Yeah, and the thing is with people, they're like, if you vote third party, you help Trump. It's like, no, I actually helped someone get a vote, and it wasn't Trump. And
Yeah.
yeah, it honestly drives me crazy. It's like, and another thing that drives me up the wall is with people. It's like you shouldn't let politics ruin friendships or your relationships with your family. I
Oh
mean,
boy.
if one of my relatives supported Trump, I couldn't care less. Like I'm still gonna love that relative, regardless of who they support. I'm able to disagree with relatives, but or even friends, and I'm not gonna like say they're dead to me or anything.
Yeah, I cannot tell you how many times that I got the criticism from my um, fellow registered Republican colleagues saying, if you vote third party, you're just going to give the race to Hillary Clinton. But the thing is, at the time of the general election, I really did think that Trump was a Clinton plant. But then ever since he got Neil Gorsuch nominated for SCOTUS, that kind of bombed in my face. So, yeah. If I knew for absolute certain that he was at least going to do that, I probably would have voted for Trump. But the truth is, I really did think he was a Trump or a Clinton plant. So I voted for the guy who was most likely to get electoral votes, and that was Evan McMullen. And he did get closer to getting electoral votes than Gary Johnson. Gary Johnson didn't even get 10% in any state. Evan McMullen at least got 21% in Utah and 9% in Idaho as well. And
Yeah.
look,
Um, I do remember there was at least 5 candidates I had been kind of aware of. There was Trump, Clinton, Evan McMullen, Jill Stein, and Governor Gary Johnson. And honestly, um, the one thing I didn't like about Jill Stein after the election is the fact that she just wouldn't take the loss and move on. And when it comes to people and they're still asking why did Trump win the election, in my opinion, that's completely at this point irrelevant because that's not going to change anything. That means literally nothing. Instead of worrying about why he won in May, almost June of 2017, I argue that we all should focus on what he's doing at this moment,
right.
and any ideas that might violate the Constitution, we should fight. If his ideas don't violate the Constitution, but we don't like him, I think we should still fight. If you think they're going to be bad or anything, then fight him.
Yep. And see, that's kind of what perplexes me about Jill Stein is because in an interview she said supposedly that she is equally scared of a Trump presidency as much of a Clinton presidency. But then she kind of goes pushing this recount in Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania. It kind of makes you go questioning whether really she was more scared or just as much scared of Trump as Clinton, or she was actually more scared of Trump than Clinton. And
Yeah.
she actually did a fundraising campaign for the whole recount, and I mean, I'm thinking in hypotheticals here, and I could be totally wrong about this, but I almost feel like she's going to run in 2020 for the Democratic nomination.
Yeah, and to be completely honest, I at the end of Obama's administration, I was kind of wondering why Hillary even bothered in the first place because it's like, a lot of Republicans had blocked a lot of things Obama tried to do or wanted to do. And I kept thinking, she probably wouldn't fare any better of a fate than Obama did. And whether you liked Obama or not, like there were some things I will give him, credit for that he did. And then there's some other things where it was really strange in my opinion, but um, I have parents who supported Clinton, and whenever they would talk about whenever we talk about who would be a better president, they would kind of hint that, oh, you're just thinking about her emails, and it's like, and I can kind of see why some people would have a problem with it, but I don't think it's like the crime of the century, to be honest.
So both of your parents supported Hillary?
Yeah, and I was third party, and some other relatives were, I guess, for some other third party people. I had a few, I guess, acquaintances who supported Trump, and I was fine with that. I don't think like giving them shit over it is going to do anything, and it also seems pretty petty to be all frustrated because someone doesn't support the same person you do. And I don't believe in uh, dropping people from your life just because they don't agree. If I had a dime for every time people would do that, I would probably be rich. You there?
Can't hear you, S man.
Huh?
I couldn't hear. Okay, it says right here in this little blue box, your network connection is experiencing difficulties.
Oh, okay.
I do not know if at first I thought that was you having problems with your microphone. I couldn't hear what you last said there. You said if you had a dime for every time a family member like threw a fit over someone else supporting somebody that they didn't support,
I'd be rich.
you'd be rich. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a whole bunch of friends. Like I used to work at a restaurant called Village Inn, and the one particular Village Inn that I worked at, it was pretty much a liberal echo chamber. Like everyone was Bernie, 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 and yeah. So I made Facebook friends with those people. I mean, they're real nice people in person, but then when I get on Facebook, it seems that during the primaries that they were just posting nothing but trash talking of Trump supporters just for being Trump supporters. I mean, trash talk all you want about the candidates themselves, but if you're going to trash talk an entire support base, that is a real good way to lose friends. Like, you do not know if any of your friends are Trump supporters or not. Just shut up. Like, lay off.
Yeah. And also, you're going to hurt the candidate you support, because when people kept calling Trump supporters racist, misogynistic bigots, and let's be honest, everyone, when people call, basically in the 21st century today, whenever people call someone sexist, racist, or whatever, it honestly just sounds like buzzwords. And honestly, it's hard to take people seriously when they throw those around so much. And that hurt Clinton in some way. Now, I don't think that's like the only reason that she lost the election.
Well, of course not.
But it was a reason, but not like a main reason or anything. And in fact, Owen said that Hillary is right wing, like that she's right wing or something. I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he said that she's right wing because I think he said she's pro business. I'm not trying to misquote him, but that she's pro capitalist and
she's a crony capitalist at most.
Yeah. And I've been wanting to ask him a question about like what's his thoughts are on anarcho-capitalism, because there is a such thing as anarcho-capitalism, communism, and socialism. And I don't know if it's just me, but it seems a bit oxymoronic for anarcho-communism to be a thing.
Yeah, that's an oxymoron. And also, there's this one guy who has a channel called Libertarian Socialist Rants, and I hear that it is a real term in Europe, libertarian socialist, but that in of itself also sounds like an oxymoron. Like, you cannot have a utopian socialist society where everybody is equal, everybody is taken care of without taking away some kind of liberty, without like taxing the crap out of a person, make them provide for the less well off, and you cannot have liberty when you're enforcing a socialist society.
Yeah, and people have been making the argument about. I'm starting to kind of be under the impression that maybe I don't think we can be all equal if we are free, just like how if we are all free, we cannot be equal. Like, I'm not saying we should treat people badly or anything. Like, I'll treat people how I want to be treated. But when it comes to
Right.
just equality as a whole, I don't think there's any such thing as being equal and free at the same time. It's either one or the other. It's like how you can't be a Muslim and a feminist. It's pretty on that part that'd be very oxymoronic to be a Muslim feminist.
Yep. All the dozens of videos criticizing whatever her name was, Zaudi Hersey, or I can't even care.
Zarna Joshi. Joshi? I don't know. Whatever her last name is.
Zarna Joshi. That was her name. I guess I'm thinking of a different chick.
This one who made a video defending Islam and apparently being, in quotation marks, a girl, this Riley J. Dennis dude, he was defending Islam, and it was so funny because he tries to refute all the facts when all the facts were so easily findable, searchable on Google as to what Sharia law is, and that in a lot of Middle Eastern countries that Sharia is the law, like the Quran and everything, and Sharia law, the Quran has something to do with Sharia law, and it was so obvious. A lot of people probably had fun reading the Quran and pointing out that if you go looking like Riley to the Middle East, you might find yourself going over a rooftop.
Sorry, I'm a little bit sidetracked here. I'm going on Facebook right here. I noticed I had a notification. I'm trying to see if I can post the link for this live stream on Facebook or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna be checking the. Okay, there's no one in the chat, but I'm just gonna check the chat whenever it's happening to see if anyone's there. I guess I'm gonna start off we did get quite off track, but
yeah, because originally you invited me to have a discussion about abortion, then we gone talking about politics all over the place, mainly the recent election.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, my first debate got really off the rails at times, but that's the fun part about YouTube. I'm surprised though. That was my longest video ever, and when it came to Owen's debates, that's his second longest. And people were giving him shit about it because it was almost 4 hours, and it's they kind of had a point, but it's YouTube, and that's the best part about YouTube. But I guess I'll start off the discussion on abortion. My general stance is, if it's not my kid, then I don't have a say. I'm not pro-choice in the sense of let's promote abortion, but I'm pro-choice in the ability to choose what you do with your body. If you want to keep the child, then that's perfectly fine. If you don't want to keep the child, that's fine too. And I'm also pro-choice to a certain extent. I don't believe in people having abortions when they're 8 months pregnant. I think that's just ridiculous. I think in some places it's 21 or 24 weeks maximum before the abortion would be against the law.
Yeah, I think there's a federal law here in the U.S. that restricts people, or even outright bans people from having abortion after 24 weeks after conception.
Yeah, and there were some anti-abortion videos I saw, one by Hunter Avallone, and the way that it was animated to kind of demonstrate, and it didn't get all gory as to how the abortion would be done. I'm not entirely sure if it was
we have a viewer,
or if it was non-biased, or something like that. I wonder who that viewer could be.
Oh, he just went away. It just went from 1 to 0.
Most of my live streams have no viewers, and that's cool because then if I'm making a live response, I don't have to look at the chat. In fact, when I do live response videos, I don't think I can actually see the chat. But anyhow, the most viewers I've had on a live stream is 5 or 6 anyway. But when it comes to the ability to choose, I don't know as to how what the point if we were to ban abortion, repeal it, which I don't know if that's even possible. what would be the point? Because at the end of the day, if we were to ban abortion, then it, who's to say that we wouldn't go out and have, in quotation marks, back alley abortions?
Right. I think that obviously if you make something illegal, it is not going to go away entirely. It could be illegal for 10 years and there will still be that minority of people breaking the law. But I still, okay, I would have to actually research this, but I feel like that it would at least go down. Abortions would.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
That abortions, like back alley ones, would go down or something? Is that what you mean?
Abortions in general would go down. I mean, obviously there would be back alley abortions. The back alley types of abortions would probably go up, but abortions as a whole in the country, I think, would go down if abortion was made illegal, like generally illegal. I mean, that's what I'm going to explain a little later.
I think it could, but a question I have is, do you believe that a life starts at conception?
Do I believe? Yes, I do. But it's kind of a little, I guess, a little gray area. I mean, you cannot have a human life without the combination of a sperm and an egg. No person is just a sperm. No person is just an egg. And at conception, that is when you have like the merging of a sperm and an egg that creates its own DNA pattern different from the mother or the father. But what I definitely think is that at 13 weeks, like I've researched this a little bit in the past, that around 13 weeks, that is when brainwaves can be detected with the child.
To be entirely honest, I did have a debate with a relative on Facebook about it, and that's the unfortunate thing is if you have an opinion on there, don't go on Facebook. If you have a Twitter, go there instead. But when it comes to the number of weeks, I would say, at the end of the day, I'm not entirely sure. Like when it comes to people who are pro-choice and then in the like pro-abortion, in the sense of, I hate to actually say this, but it seems like they use like appeal to emotion sometimes.
What, the pro-choice crowd or pro-life crowd appeals to emotion?
Sometimes it's a bit of both, but I usually see this from sometimes from both sides, but usually when it's more apparent in the pro-choice crowd. When it comes to, it's just a woman's right, there's no debate about it, and if you're a man and you can't have an opinion on it, it's like, well, that's cool, because when it comes to men's rights activism or anything that guys have movements about, then women shouldn't have an opinion on it, and then they wouldn't like that at all. And sometimes there's pro-lifers who bring emotion into it, but not as common as pro-choice people. But usually when I've talked to some pro-lifers and they bring up the Bible, one part I can't remember the where, but at one point it said that a child, its life, when they were born and they took a breath of air as a person, and then another part said that it began at conception. I cannot remember where. If I can find it, I'll get back to you on that. But it seemed a bit. If you were to use the Bible, like what it says, to back up an argument, and if you were to use religion in that sense, then it'd be the Bible would show a bit of cognitive dissonance or a hypocrisy in that statement.
Yeah, and that's what kind of bugs me about the more anti-theist left regarding abortion. It's as they always, if not most of the time, think that the pro-life crowd bases their logic only on religion. Like, when I first got introduced to abortion, I saw the picture of one of Dr. George Tiller. Dr. George Tiller was he was the top abortionist here in Wichita, Kansas, the city that I live in, and he ran South Winds Women's Center. I do not know if it was called South Women's Center back then, but it definitely is called that now. But it's the same building that he ran. And so anyway, the first picture that I saw was of one of Dr. George Tiller's victims. And the first thought that went through my head was not, oh my gosh, would Jesus Christ find that to be a sin? No, the first thought in my head was, who would do such a thing? Want to kill a baby? Like, I was just thinking purely of the murder aspect of it.
Yeah. And to be honest, I don't believe that all pro-lifers bring religion to it. There's atheist pro-lifers, and from other religions as well. And then there's agnostic pro-lifers. So, and you know, I think it'd be quite unfair to say, oh, that they get all their logic from God Himself. And then there's religious pro-choice people.
Yeah.
And to me, that's fine. You know, it's like, however, if I were to put myself in a woman's shoes, it's like I might think differently. I can understand why people would get an abortion in the sense of, I mean, like they should at least think about it. I think you at least should, if you there's other options like adoption, you know, and then things like that. When it comes to aborting the child, like that's of course permanent, and you can't take that back. And overall, when it comes down to it, I do believe there are some justifications to abortion in the sense of like rape or incest. I think it would be justified in that aspect. As for to spite, like if her only reason was I want to spite my husband, I don't think that's a legitimate. Like I don't care what any beta male feminist says. Like Owen, that's not a good reason.
Owen Macdonald just sickened me with that line in his abortion video.
Absolutely, I was a little pissed off because it's like, you know. And another thing when it comes to abortion, it's like I think the only person that should pay for it is the woman. If it's her body and her choice, then she pays for it. And Hunter Avalon was saying, well, the baby isn't literally a part of your body. And I don't think that's what they mean by my body, my choice. I think they meant like it's what's in my body at the moment. I'm going to decide whether it stays there until I deliver it or not. That's what I think they meant. I don't know. Maybe they think the baby is literally a part of them, but I don't know, maybe that sounds a little delusional, but that line really did sicken me where it's like he just says that and I'm thinking, like I face palmed a little bit, but I don't blame you for not watching the entire thing. I mean, to be fair, it was 85 minutes of me responding to 30 minutes of his video, so I mean, I can kind of see why.
Also responding on multiple different videos in that long-ass video, correct?
Yeah, it was abortion, feminist frequency, which I was surprised War Corpse didn't respond to that one. I was thinking
Owen Macdonald's abortion video?
No, the feminist frequency one. I was surprised he didn't respond to that one.
Well, the thing is that War Corpse 666, he might not be as passionate about abortion as Owen Macdonald, but he is at least more passionate for people to have the right, I use the word right loosely, the right to abortion, more passionate about it than even you, I would think.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't really bother making a response video to Feminist Frequency because he finds that he has that bit of common ground with feminists, is my observation of Corpse.
Yeah, and honestly, with Owen, he couldn't answer the question War Corpse has posed to him, I've posed him, and anyone else is, what rights, under the law, do women not have that I have? Couldn't answer. Now, when it comes to back to abortion, I would like to hear what your thoughts are when it comes to when the grounds are for rape and incest, and the reasons they would abort the kid. Oh, and before you continue, I'm just going to mute myself so I don't feedback through the microphone.
Sorry, what was that last thing you said?
I'm going to mute my mic so it just so we don't have like a reverb effect.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm not having that good a quality hearing your microphone. Like, okay, about rape and incest, that's what you asked. Well, first, I divide up abortion in kind of, well, actually everyone divides up abortion into 4 different categories. There is rape, incest, life of mother, and the fourth one I like to call convenience abortion. Abortion in the name of convenience. Like, say, for example, the woman and man get drunk and the woman gets pregnant and she goes thinking to herself, oh man, a child is just inconvenient for me, so I'm going to kill it. Even though there was nothing really wrong committed before for the pregnancy to happen. There's nothing wrong committed, like in the case of rape. Just she thinks that the child is inconvenient. So I definitely think that abortion should be banned for all convenience cases. As far as rape and incest goes, even then, I still think it is wrong to abort and should not be allowed in the name of rape and incest, because it is not the child's fault. It is not the unborn child's fault that the woman got pregnant, that the woman got raped, excuse me, or even had sex with their own family member, and so therefore it is incest. Like, if you abort the child because you were raped, you are punishing innocent party. The child did not do anything, yet she is getting punished with death.
I'm going to address this maybe in a bit of reverse order. When it comes to the whole incest thing, I think maybe a reason they say that is because when it comes to incest, the child, I think, is going to have some developmental problems, and sometimes it may be like very minor, and sometimes you might not even know that there may be a developmental problem, and then sometimes it might be very obvious, and the child might die or something. I think you'd have to have generations of this happening, but and so I can kind of see though as to why they'd still do it, in the sense of they have a memory. They're going to have a living reminder of what I'm trying to think of. They're going to have a living reminder of what happened, and that's something they can't live with. Now, but I still think we should always encourage an alternative to abortion, in the sense of, because there's adoption, and then you got abortion, and the third one I think is just to raise the kid. Two of those three options, I don't think it's a very easy option to do either of the two. When it comes to the third one, I think maybe it still isn't easy, but it's not nowhere near as bad in my opinion as the third one. Now, when it comes to rape, I can especially see that as to why they don't want to have a living reminder of the child. But there are moms who say that they have been raped and they wanted to still give the kid life, and I applaud that. And when it comes to those who've been raped or their kids can be a product of incest, if they want to give the child life, that's fine. When it comes to the whole convenience thing, I think it's just bullshit. It's like it takes two to tango to make the kid, and you just want to take responsibility for the kid, so you're just gonna abort it. Like, if a kid is pregnant, I can especially see that because their bodies, especially a young girl, she's the only one who can get pregnant anyway. The thing is, I don't think her body's even ready to have kids. Like girls in their teens, biologically speaking, yes, they can, but there's cases where teen girls, their death rates are higher, have a higher risk of dying while giving birth.
Okay.
So I can kind of.
Yeah, I would understand the life of mother. Like, most of us pro-lifers and anti-abortionists believe that is definitely the one exception for, in the case of abortion, is the life of mother. Say they got, I cannot remember the medical terminology, but say they got the child got stuck in an area that not supposed to be, like, not properly set in the womb, but they're set in a way so that there is the risk of life. What?
Fallopian tubes? Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, that might be the term right there. Fallopian tubes. The child gets stuck in the fallopian tube. There is still medical procedures to, like, prevent anyone from dying, and I would personally encourage that over an abortion. And I would, if I like heard of a case like that, I would personally donate to the woman having the surgery so that neither of them have to die. But if she feels like having the abortion, I could understand that a whole lot better than in the case of convenience rape or incest.
Yeah, and as a side note, I would actually like to see you and Owen debate abortion and a number of other topics. Just as a side note, I think that'd be interesting to see you two have a debate there.
Well, you contact that tea drinking sissy and tell him that I will kick him in his knickers.
There's
that's kind of cocky, obviously.
Yeah. I remember there was one video I responded to of his about gender, which I hate to bring it up to him. There's still only 2. The funniest thing, though, was about like 13 and a half minutes in my video, I paused at a certain point where he made a hilarious face, and I was dying of laughter for about 30 seconds. I don't regret that video at all, and he got very salty at me about it. He's all saying that I had to hide my crappy points behind a bad still image of him. I even put it in the thumbnail just to like piss him off. And then his SJW buddies downvoted some of my video replies to him, and it's like, you know what? Downvote it all you want. He's still wrong. Now, the only thing I could agree with him is on with Owen on when it comes to abortion is life of the mother, and I can empathize with victims of rape and incest. I can empathize because if I were to be a victim, if I were physically capable of giving birth to kids, and I were to have been raped or anything like that, then I can understand why you wouldn't want the living reminder. But if I couldn't have the abortion, I think an alternative I think we should suggest is, when it comes to rape and incest, is put the kid up for adoption. However, we do have way too many people on Earth. I believe 7 point, and I could be wrong, 4 or 5 billion people on Earth, or maybe even, I'm not sure, but it's between the ballpark of 7.1 and 7.5 billion people. And I think we should have, been trying to curtail the population when we were at like 4 billion. But, and I think we should also encourage people, when it comes to wanting to get pregnant in general, is to adopt kids, because we have a lot of unadopted kids, and especially those who can't have children of their own.
Yeah. I made a little speech about overpopulation, and we'll get back to the issue of overpopulation, of global overpopulation here in a bit, because I'm not as much of the concern that we will overpopulate the earth to the point that it'll be totally self-destructive. But anyway, I want to rewind back to the case of rape and incest. I'm pretty sure that everybody can empathize with a woman who was raped, because that is a terrible thing to have to go through, to have sex without consent. And nobody would disagree that adoption is probably the best case. I mean, if anything, at least put up the child for adoption, because I personally know a couple of people who were able to grow up to be, well, not successful adults, but well-off adults, might I say. Well-off adults that did not have parents. And the look to the look at the child as a reminder of the rape, that seems kind of like a cruel way to look at the child. I mean, there's this one woman named Rebecca Kesslingen, one of my employees over at Village Inn, who is actually not a liberal, at least not on the issue of abortion. Both Rebecca Kissling and the mentioned employee, they both had their mothers say to their faces, "I wish I would have aborted you." I might be appealing.
Probably damaged them.
Huh?
That, I think, would probably mess someone up for a long time.
Yeah, and I know I'm kind of appealing to emotion a bit by mentioning this up, but it seems kind of a cruel way to look at the child. But I think it should be looked at as an example of your own mercy for you to allow that child to have a life.
Yeah. And just as a side note as well, do you have headphones or earbuds?
I do. You want me to put them on?
Yeah, I think maybe that will solve the reverb.
All right. Yeah, that probably will help with it.
Okay, and to be fair, maybe it was. I will say maybe it was just. It's not okay. Just to be fair, it sounded maybe a little cruel to say a living reminder of what happened. Um, and maybe I think that also sounded a bit like appeal to emotion, but to be completely honest, even though it is somewhat true that when they'll look for some moms, they'll look at their kid and it'll be a constant reminder of what happened. But there is for some moms where they look at the child and they just see um that they've brought life into the world. And to be completely honest, when it comes down to people saying, and honestly, with pro-abortion, with pro-choice people, I think maybe there's a few double standards you could nail them on when it comes to some statements they use to justify it, like, "Oh, it's just a woman's choice. It's a woman's choice. You can't have kids. What do you know?" Maybe you could argue it's appeal to emotion. Just throw that out and not have any other defense of abortion. I personally, since I'm not going to bear children. I can't conceive a kid. Um, I can get someone pregnant, but I can't physically, carry a child with me. I don't know if I were to be raped or something like that, or my life were to be threatened. I think I might think about abortion. And however, I would like to ask the question of what would be the point to ban it. I think I may have asked this earlier. I can't remember what you said, but what would be the point of banning abortion if uh, people could just have back alley abortions, or they could, in quotation marks, accidentally like fall down the stairs or use a coat hanger, which honestly I think I'd be terrified of dying, because there's women who've died trying to abort the kid unsafely. And I guess I'm just thinking, in a naive sense, but I wouldn't want to die. I think that at some point it's like I'd be afraid of death, because even if I wanted to abort that kid with every fiber of my being, is it worth dying over?
Well, if they're so desperate to want to, if they really that badly don't want to die, well, then probably they should just not try to do an unsafe abortion. And what I said earlier was that back alley abortions might not go away. Actually, they definitely won't, but I'm thinking that banning abortion would make abortions as a whole across our country go down.
Yeah.
And the way that I look at it is that we have murder illegal. Like, you can't kill Owen Macdonald if he decided to take a vacation here in the United States because there are laws against murder. And the way that I look at abortion is that it is murder of innocent party. Now, if you want to talk about self-defense, that is a completely different issue, and that is why that I find, in the case of rape, to be unacceptable, is you are just killing innocent party.
Yeah. And when it comes to killing Owen, it's like I wouldn't kill him because honestly, I just like watching him.
No. That came out wrong. Sorry.
What?
I said that came out. Sorry. That came out wrong. Sorry. Probably gonna get a bunch of shit. I mean, if Owen ever watches this. Whoa! You on S-Man Speaks to Kill Owen? You son of a bitch, Zach! You.
I like his videos because he embarrasses himself. Yeah, he tells me in his live stream responses to me, he's like, "S-Man, you're embarrassing yourself with these videos," and I'm thinking,
you have a better like to dislike ratio than that guy does.
Our debate had like 4 likes to 23 dislikes, and his second debate with War Corpse that was on his channel, on Owen's channel, has like 33 dislikes and no likes, and I was laughing my ass off. Now, Also, I don't believe in killing people I don't agree with. But Owen thinks it's okay to
No, no,
punch.
no, no, no. Hey, Owen and any of his fans, if any of you are watching, nobody is condoning that S-Man Speaks kills Owen. All right, just for the record, that was just an example earlier. Probably a very dumb example to mention the case of murder.
Yeah, and honestly, like, it's just hilarious because he thinks it's okay to punch people you don't agree with if they're supposed Nazis, but
Oh,
I don't
really?
think he even knows what a Nazi is. It's like, if I punch people I don't agree with, you know what would happen to me? I would be arrested. Or the person I'm punching might have a gun on them, and they might just blow my brains out in self-defense, and the law would agree with them and say that, yeah, S-Man Speaks attacked someone for no good reason, and that person defended themselves, so they blew his brains out.
Yeah, don't assault people who you disagree with. It just presents an example of your desperation as a person who cannot handle a debate.
Yeah. Honestly, when it comes to abortion, because I can't bear children, I don't have all that much of an opinion on it. When it comes to whether it's medically okay or not, that's where I'm not entirely sure. Now, just to wrap up on the whole line of life of the mother, if it saves the mom's life, then that's fine. If it's for convenience, it does nothing for you medically, so I don't see the need to do it for medical reasons. And people say, "Oh, it's selfish to not have a kid." I think it's selfish to have a kid, and the only reason you're doing it is to live through your kids, or like if a woman has a child just to get child support out of the dad. I think that's just being a terrible mother. On the part of rape and incest, I think for maybe health reasons, maybe it might have a point, uh, like mental health of the mom or whatever. I think maybe it might make sense there, but overall, I think that's all really much my opinion on abortion is. If the reason is bullshit because convenience, then it's bullshit. But I don't know. I don't have the power to stop anyone from having it, and I guess when it comes to if I were to have it, I'm not sure where I'd stand then. But if I were to be in that position,
Your microphone is kind of breaking up, by the way.
oh, my bad. When it to wrap up my point on abortion is if it's for health reasons, then that's fine. If it's just for convenience, it's bullshit. But I don't know what we could do to stop it from happening. That's all I got to say, really.
Put it out of business because I think most women would not really have the guts to like try and perform it on themselves because it just sounds plain uncomfortable and painful trying to put something in your own vagina, you know. But if
I'd be hurting myself if I was a woman and I'm trying to abort myself. I'd be afraid of like messing something up, and then you got to rush someone to the hospital because they're bleeding, and it isn't that time of the month. So yeah, they're going to be in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's a few other on your channel description. There's a few other opinions of yours I agree with: anti-illegal immigration, anti-authoritarian.
Anti-authoritarianism.
Yeah, I don't find it authoritarianism to be a good thing.
Yeah. And as far as illegal immigration goes, like that is where my channel started to pick up in activity. Is that I did a few AJ Plus response videos. You know AJ Plus, right?
Yeah, I made a response to them about their video about protesting and how it's justified not to have peaceful protesting. And my thoughts on that are: if you are breaking store windows, the owner, if they shoot you in the face, you deserved it. Now, whether you're for or against Black Lives Matter, I guess that'd be another discussion, but I personally am against it.
Yeah, no. All in all, I'm against them, and they've become pretty much irrelevant ever since the end of 2016. It seems to me.
Yeah.
I mean, when have we heard of another violent riot, or even a peaceful protest, or a protest that calls on the death of police this year? And the year is almost half over.
Yeah, and that's surprising actually, because it felt like 5 minutes ago was January 1st, and that day I received my first response video to me, and now we're almost in June.
Yeah.
And, and honestly, it's pretty interesting, but this year's been good for me. I don't know about you, but this year's actually been pretty good for me.
No, it has been. It has been a pretty decent year. Activity on my channel has picked up, and I've made a few successful videos. Um, yeah, and I'm also gonna. I'm wanting to like make a video asking for the logic of why people think that Jesus was a communist, because that's kind of the issue that I've been trying to wrestle with other liberals over the internet chat, is whether Jesus was a communist. And yeah, they my main question is, if Jesus was a communist, is where is the verse that has him advocating for a system of government that takes from one person to give to another? And
Yeah,
none of them can mention one single verse. Like, one asshole that I debated on the issue, he he said, he quoted a verse, like I think it was Acts 4:23 through 26 or something like that, where I guess Peter, one of the disciples of Jesus, in the aftermath of Jesus's death and resurrection, where he and a group of his followers were like in some kind of hippie commune of its own, I guess. But the thing is, they were not forcing anyone by the sword to give away anything to anyone. They were willfully selling all their property, selling all their goods, and then giving the money to Peter and the apostles.
yeah. What do you think? So, what are your thoughts on Christian communism?
Christian communism?
Yeah,
Well,
because I was reading up a little on communism, and then I saw something about Christian communism, and that sounded so weird. It's like you don't hear Islamic communism, you don't hear Jewish communism, just Christian communism.
yep. Yeah, I never heard of the term Christian communism, like Christian and communism in that particular order and in the same saying. But again, if Jesus Christ was for communism, where is the verse that he advocated for a system of government that takes from one to give to another?
Yeah, and I've never really debated people on economics because at first it never really interested me. But there is quite a YouTube group where a bunch of anarcho-communists or communists and capitalists and anarcho-capitalists fight each other. Um,
Hmm.
there's this one channel called the Communist Dragon. He says anarcho-capitalism is oxymoronic, but anarcho-communism isn't. And I think I had a bit of a chat with him in the comment section of one of his videos. He blames capitalism because Disney blocked one of his videos, and it's like you can't blame capitalism. The only thing you can blame is Disney not knowing what fair use is.
But
But
by the way, what is it with your microphone? It almost like it fades off in like a techno sound, kind of.
I have literally no idea. When it comes to live streams, I honestly have no idea how microphones honestly work when it comes to live streams. When it comes to pre-recorded videos, I have better luck.
Right.
If this were a pre-recorded chat, it would take me a bit to render a video because videos that are over an hour take a bit to render. So I think live streams work the best because the video is already on YouTube. It's just processing.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that we really fixed the reverb a lot when I put on headphones. Note to self: always wear headphones when doing a live stream. I also got my little microphone right here, kind of close to the speaker, and so that might be a contributing factor. How does my microphone sound, by the way?
It sounds pretty good. What kind is it?
Um, Damn it, I cannot remember what exactly it was called, but I got it from Best Buy. Let me see if I still have the receipt here or not, maybe. Nope, that's the receipt for my VR and cell phone. I only just recently got a smartphone, by the way.
I edit my videos all in a tablet with 16 gigabytes, and actually, a lot of people think it's from like a webcam, and it's like, that's hilarious. The fact people think that is just, it brings joy to me. Also, note to self, never wear earbuds when you're in a live stream, in a Google Hangout stream.
Hey, you're really starting to fade out. You're getting quieter and quieter.
Note to self, never wear earbuds when you're in a Google Hangout stream with a tablet, because I sound like I'm going through a McDonald's speaker. But, you know.
So you do all of your computer stuff, editing and all of that on a tablet?
Absolutely. That's why I can't stream on Google with Google Hangouts on air. The app I use for live streams, solo streams, is Camerify. It's a thing you can download on like a cell phone or a tablet. If like I wanted to speak with someone in real time in a live stream, I just go on YouNow.
Yep.
And something that drives me crazy about illegal immigration is how people, it's like, what happened if either of us entered Mexico illegally? We'd be jailed and deported immediately.
Yeah.
So what would be the problem with America doing the same thing? If you were here legally, I don't see a need to have you deported. If you came here illegally, I'm sorry, but you broke the law, and you should. For those who but the thing is, for those who've been here for, like, let's say 5 years, they haven't broken any laws, and they've just been a contributing member of society, then I say we just give them a fine, some probation, and we give them citizenship. I don't think it should be as difficult as it is, but I don't see why we shouldn't have an immigration policy. Like, open border countries don't work. Sweden their rape rates have increased over 1,000%. That's not me misspeaking, it's the truth. And after Manchester, Katy Perry was saying we should have open borders so we can all coexist, and I'm thinking, Katy Perry or something like that. Are you high? Open borders don't work. If we have, borders and we have a vetting process, then we'll be fine. But if we have open borders, then it's going to be chaos, like how it has been in Sweden and any other country with open borders. That was the one thing I didn't like about Angela Merkel, was the whole open border thing. I thought that was I thought it was just extremely pathetic, and it seemed like she was just doing it out of political correctness.
Right. Nobody likes Angela Merkel, except for a little over half the people in Germany who keep on voting her in.
Yeah. And something, speaking about European people, everyone's favorite British feminist, I didn't understand why he gave a damn about Trump being elected, because it's like, you can't vote in the United States. The only election you can vote in is in your own country, so why would you care about an election you can't vote in?
What do you mean, everybody's favorite British feminist? You're not talking about Owen, are you?
No, I am.
Oh.
Yeah, he made a video like, why did Donald Trump win the election? And it's like, buddy, not only is that wholly irrelevant now in, like, May of 2017, I call him the British feminist because it just fits him. I also call him Snaggletooth, but maybe that's a bit...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was a little bit confused there as to why you said congratulations to me, Zach Edwards, replying to the Snaggletooth British feminist. And I was thinking to myself, what? Are you talking about my video where I responded to a feminist article that was written by Dina Liegerman, is her name, I think. And I was thinking, is she really British? I did not know that. But yeah, she wrote an article that said, to all those women who are against the Women's March, you are not equal. I'm sorry. I cannot remember the exact title of the article, but yeah, I made a little response video to that. It's 40 minutes long, and it only has like a handful of views, and it doesn't have any feedback, honestly.
My most viewed video when it came to a critique video was this one where Owen agreed with me on the video. It was me responding to this guy defending pedophilia. It was a live stream I did where I responded to his entire video, and the dude took his video down because he was getting so much hate. And that's like the
Yeah.
only video of mine Owen agreed with me on. And honestly, he said he was pretty pissed off because people were saying leftists and socialists were enabling pedophilia, even though I don't believe that's true for even a minute.
Yeah.
He said he was going to fight that, and it's like, buddy, I think I don't know if that would be good for you because I think getting all that pissed off at commenters who were probably just trolls saying that I don't think it'd be worth it. Yet he tells me I get irate and irrational about other people's comments. Yet he said he was tempted to fight that, and it's like, well, if that's what he wants to do, that's fine. But I would love to have a debate with him as to whether or not it's okay to punch Nazis. Because I don't support Nazis, but I don't believe in punching people because I kind of like to spend my time outside of jail because I wouldn't want to spend a day in there.
I don't know if I would really want to go my way of talking to somebody, debating with them on whether it's okay to punch Nazis or not, because I know it's not a one-sided issue, but I almost view that as kind of a one-sided issue. Like, nobody really cares. Generally, people think that people know that it's not all right to punch people just for differences in beliefs. But I guess there are those rare people. If they wanted to call me out for a debate, I guess I'll entertain them. But I personally would not want to go out of my way on that kind of a debate.
Yeah. And also, it seems like the point he could not refute is, all right, he thinks that capital punishment should be outlawed and that it's murder, but wouldn't it be assault to punch people you don't agree with?
The irony.
The irony is beautiful. Just like how I can't remember this other thing, but he doesn't brag about being thick-skinned when it comes to people leaving disrespectful comments. He says he laughs at them, but then he throws buzzwords around like it's like that they're so disrespectful and everything. It's like the irony is just great. I assume you're anti-feminist as well.
Well, obviously, I mentioned earlier that I made a response video to a 40-minute long response video to the feminist article, and it was bringing up some of the most stupidest points. Some points that I never even heard before, but were still pretty freaking stupid. Like, people care more for what you wear than what's in your head. I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? Like, seriously, are you saying that people here in the United States really voted and supported Hillary Clinton because of her tacky pantsuits? I mean, come on. You'd have to be living under a rock. I said that people are stupid if they actually buy that, but it might be true, but it's still kind of mean to all those who actually really do think it. But you'd have to be living under a rock. Like, pay no attention to media at all if you really think that women are cared for based on what they wear and not what they think. I mean, Carly Fiorina, like in the early days of the primary, she was ahead of Donald Trump for a few moments, and people were obviously not supporting her because of what she wore, but because they liked her policies better. And not to mention all the thousands of female anti-feminists here on YouTube. People could not give a shit about how they look. Well, obviously, looks are a nice plus, but damn it, I'm going to like those looks if they have good looks. But people like Sugar Tits, Blair White, my name is Josephine, Tree of Logic, Shoe on Head. I could keep on going on and on about anti-feminist women whom people care for their opinions and not just because of their looks.
Yeah, and people like that, I agree with a lot of what they have to say. And to me, it's like the last thing I think about is appearance because whenever I see someone in general, it's like my thoughts aren't, oh wow, they're hot. It's just like, oh, there's another human being. I really don't think of it to be anything beyond that. And honestly, One reason for feminism, according to Owen, was because people leave comments about women's appearance on their videos.
Oh my gosh.
I responded to it, and honestly, it was so frustrating because it's like, buddy, YouTube comments don't hurt you. The video is called. I'm gonna go to his channel because the video is so he doesn't post too often. So it's if you want to find like a specific video he makes, then it's not that hard to find. The video, it's called "Sexism Through Focus on Appearance." It was so stupid.
And he said
And
that one of the reasons why we still need feminism is because people leave positive emphasis on positive comments to women on their videos.
that was part of what he was arguing about, and the rest was if they leave. And he didn't define what creepy comments even meant. He didn't define that at all. And I'm thinking, buddy, if you could give me a little more context, I might agree, I might not. Then he has some other videos. He talks about homelessness in another video. It's just called homelessness, where he blames capitalism as usual. I swear, I bet if he were to stub his toe on his I don't know, like let's say he stubs his toe on the door, he blames capitalism. His alarm clock doesn't wake him up, he blames capitalism. His phone didn't charge overnight, he blames capitalism. The pizza delivery guy is late by like a few minutes, capitalism.
Pizza Hut is not delivering my pizza on time. That's because the CEOs have bad taste in of what is a good employee. This is why that we should have the workers decide of who works what position, even though they might not know, even though there's only room for one person to interview the person.
It's all really hilarious, and I'm thinking, okay, if the workers own the means of production and everything, and they can just manage themselves, do you think they're going to understand what 80,000, what all the 80,000 pages of regulations? Do you think they'll understand anything it says? I doubt it, to be completely honest. And also, and it's like they're stealing from the employees. I'm like, okay, explain how. I don't think CEOs in certain places should be given as much money as they are. Like, I think like at one point the CEOs or whatever made like 30 times or something what the employees made, and then now they make a couple hundred times that. I still think CEOs are the most important, but I don't think they should be like still given all that much. I'm not saying we should steal it from them, because let's be honest, socialism is basically legalized theft. I mean, how else would you get the money back? And communism also seems like legalized theft. You know.
Yep. And there seems to be this bit of confusion. Like, people confuse the refraining from giving something away as stealing. You're not being given a proper wage, that's stealing. No, that's refraining from giving away.
Yeah. I can't remember. I asked him some of his opinions on other things like MGTOW, veganism, and communism, because at the time I wasn't too familiar with what Marxism is. He's supportive of communism, but he still goes with socialism because socialist Marxism or something. I don't want to misrepresent what he said. Veganism, he said, he's not a vegan himself, but he's supportive of it because the meat industry is pretty terrible. I don't know if you saw the documentary Food Inc. I did, and it was pretty hard to see what exactly happens in those factories. And after Food Inc. was released, 33 states made it illegal to film inside a factory, which is pretty shady, but
Yeah.
I don't know what your thoughts are on veganism.
Oh man. Now you're just revisiting a topic that I kind of want to leave behind, because I've been watching too many vegan debates, which means obviously I'm watching too much of vegan gains.
I like his channel for the most part because he does give some. He cites his sources, unlike Owen, where he's saying in history the workers have done fine on their own. So I like vegan gains for that. He cites his sources, and I'm thinking about actually trying a vegetarian diet, and if it works out, maybe try veganism for at least temporarily for just health reasons, because weight loss is always good. But
Hmm.
when it comes to, I do believe that veganism, I'm not against it, and I especially don't know why people would say we can only survive on just meat, like that we'd be just fine. It's no, I think if you're gonna eat meat, you should at least have it in moderation. Um, then I asked Owen what his opinion was on MGTOW. I'm not a MGTOW. I mean, I can kind of understand why some men would go their own way, but
What the heck is MGTOW? I never understood what MGTOW stands for.
MGTOW. That's how they call it. MGTOW. When I first saw the word, I'm like, the hell is that? Men going their own way is apparently a. I'm gonna pull up the definition because I know what it is. I just can't explain it with words because English. But MGTOW meaning, and according to Google, um, men going their own way is a way of life which men refuse to defer to women in defining the worth of men. Instead, it focuses on positive male aspects, inviting men to go their own way in life. Now, I mean, that makes sense, though. And Owen's saying it's all misogynistic and everything. And to be honest, whenever he says any of those buzzwords, I just ignore it. He says it's transphobic to make a joke at a trans person's expense. It would depend on the context, of course. But, yeah, I guess just a political ideology where men don't defer themselves to women, and I think if a guy wants to do that, that's fine. I don't see it as misogynistic. And Owen was kind of, he was, I don't know if he was denying the fact that, in some areas women have it easier than men, but it seemed like he was somewhat denying that. And I kind of did go through the full list of how men do have it harder than women in some areas. And he's saying that feminism addresses it. And I'm thinking, does it really? Oh, shoot. I
Hello?
know. Hey, I'm still on the line, but where did I cut off at?
I don't know. I was speaking right there. I don't know when you started speaking. Sorry, but you mind if I was asking, you mind if I rewind this conversation a bit, backtrack on an older subject?
Yeah, sure.
I do not know if we thought that the issue of abortion was kind of settled for right now, but I'm just wanting to ask you, when would you say is the age after conception, well, for viability? When is the time for viability and that abortion should not be allowed for that child?
I'd say at least at maximum 24 weeks, because that's what the law says. That's why I would go with. Now, if doctors were to say otherwise, then I'd go with what the doctors say. But I think the law and the doctors might agree. But yeah, that would be my stance on it.
Okay. Well, I think that definitely that the restriction should be raised, lower on the age, 13 weeks, around 13 weeks, when brainwaves start to be detected. Ultimately, I really want abortion to be gotten rid of and decriminalized altogether, but you know that you cannot have your way on everything.
Yeah.
But I say that definitely in the case of convenience that it should be illegal. But if you were raped or incest, 13 weeks. You have 13 weeks to make up your decision whether you want to keep or abort.
Yeah, and if you wait any longer, then I guess the choice was made for you. One thing I noticed with Owen, he's pro-choice, I guess pro-abortion, and he's against the death penalty, and it's like, so you're pro the ability to terminate the life of a child, but who's not even born yet. You're against the ability to execute someone who broke the law, took someone else's life, didn't give a damn about their victim. You're not okay with that, but you're okay with terminating the life of an unborn child who, to be completely honest, yeah, sure, they didn't do anything wrong, so it's a bit odd. I wish I would have asked him that. But yeah, that's
Um,
all my thoughts on abortion. Go ahead.
yeah, you keep on referring to unborn children as well, unborn children, and so that makes me wonder. Like, you really do pity the unborn children, the fact that under the law, people have the ability to kill them. Is that what I'm reading properly here?
I can a little bit because it doesn't seem like an
Okay.
easy decision for anyone to make. Because I don't think, even for the moms who do choose to abort the kid, I don't think it's an easy choice for them to make any way about it.
And the only reason why you consider yourself pro-choice all in all is because they're inside, well, inside another person, and so that person falls into the circumstances as well, and because they have to do all the bearing, that is what makes you kind of think they should have the choice.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I'm. I mean, if you want to consider your own body as private property or something like that, because I really do believe in private property rights, but I don't think a person's life in some circumstances underrules private property rights. I mean, if somebody like intentionally invaded your home and you do not know what they're doing, yes, your private property rights overrules their right to life, and you have the right to self-defend. Like, I know somebody who had a home invader, and he did not know what that home invader was going to do. He thought he was going to rape his daughter and mother, and so he, without knowing the intentions of the home invader, just shot him dead. But the case with a born child, or with an unborn child, excuse me, is that the unborn child obviously is not responsible for invading, for lack of a better word, the mother's body.
Um, yeah, I can see where that analogy would be used. Um, in fact, when it came to the whole self-defense thing about that as a whole, that got really messy in my second debate with Owen on that. But I
Oh,
personally think that I don't know why it did. We were talking about capital punishment, and then we got on the topic of self-defense and saying that I can't remember which one of us brought it up, but anyway, back on the abortion. I guess someone could argue that well, the biological father of the child in question, had his sperm invade the mother, and that grew into the child. So the father invaded. I hate to say the word invaded the mother, and his intentions were pretty obvious. So I guess they would use that analogy to justify terminating the child. Um, but I would like to. I'd actually like to see a study that says that brainwaves are detected in 13 weeks.
what did you say right there? You would like to see a study on what?
Did you get the whole 13? The brainwaves are detected at 13 weeks or something.
Oh, you okay? You would like me to find that for you?
Yeah, I'd actually like to read that myself because if that's true, then I think you might have a case against it. And if you and Owen were to debate, then I'd like to see him try and refute that. And honestly, when I first saw your video, when I first found your channel on your response on abortion, it's like I might not entirely agree with it, but any response to him is a-okay in my book.
Yeah. You just plain don't like the guy in a
Yeah,
way.
like I think I think as a person, I think he's a good guy. He's willing to he's open to criticism. He's open to people challenging his opinion. Um, however, I do think he's somewhat thin-skinned, and that's what I kind of don't like. And he has, when he made responses to me, he took some of the things I said out of context, and that's where I definitely lost some respect for him. But I do have respect for him on the fact that he was open to criticism and everything like that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to figure out my smartphone here. Um, let's see.
on anarchy?
Anarchy?
Yeah.
Well, I've tried to embrace anarcho-capitalism, but I'm not completely sold on that. Like, I watch a few videos of that guy T, but yeah, my biggest concern is regarding international self-defense. Like, the normal populace is not organized enough to fend against an entire nation's army.
Yeah.
Like oh, trying to think here. Like, one country can decide to become an anarcho-capitalist society, but not every nation is going to be that way. So my biggest concern is, what if there comes a day down the road of the history of the anarcho-capitalist society that they get overran by an entire army of soldiers, and there's nothing they can do about it because they aren't organized? That's my biggest concern about that. I mean, social welfare, I mean, I'm kind of mixed on that. Like, my biggest concern is economic freedom. Like, I don't think that a manager at all should be told on what to do with his own business, as long as he is not, like, intentionally harming his employees. Like, it's something like minimum wage. I don't think they should be forced to pay any certain wage to their employee. I don't think that they should be mandated on giving health care or any benefits for that matter. I mean, the thing about employment is that it is an agreed upon proposition. Like, I'll work for you for this certain wage. And yeah, I'm definitely for economic freedom. And as far as social welfare goes, as long as it does not get in the way of a person's liberty to run his own business, or to run his own life for that matter, I'm kind of for, well, I wouldn't say I'm for it, because obviously social welfare gets pretty expensive. I mean, there was a Forbes magazine article that stated of how expensive Bernie care would be, that it would cost about 2.3 billion, or trillion, actually. That would cost $22 trillion over 10 years.
Yeah.
But I'm more open-minded to the idea of social welfare than infringing on somebody's economic freedom.
Yeah, my biggest concern with anarchy is, and I even talked to my own father about the anarcho-capitalism and privatizing police. My father's against privatizing education by a long shot. My biggest concern is, if we privatize police, like they say capitalism rewards good behavior, if a private security guard mistreats or kills you, he'll never work again. My concern is, what about if the company that guard is working for tries to cover it up or anything, because they might get sued. But I guess the AMCAP, what anarcho-capitalists are called, could argue that doesn't that already happen with regular police. But some anarcho-capitalist YouTubers I watch are Mr. Dapperton and Hoodie Demon. He has a voice filter. Hoodie Demon does, but he even made a response to Owen, and he even called him in quotation marks, snaggletooth motherfucker, and I was in tears of laughter. So, yeah, that's pretty much some of my concerns with anarcho-capitalism. As for anarcho-socialism and communism, they still suck. Just like for the kind of some of the same reasons as socialism and communism suck.
Right. Okay, this isn't the exact article that I originally found it from, and actually, the original source that I got for the whole 13 weeks is when brainwaves are detected argument was from a pro-life website, and I know a lot of people would like laugh their ass off in hysteria. Oh, this stupid pro-lifer, he is getting confirmation bias from his own side. But the one original website was quoting a whole bunch of books talking about the science of conceivability. Like there was one that was called Robert George, or it was called Embryo, written by a guy named Robert George, and they were quoting from that, among many other books, of how an unborn child is her own human being, that they are separate, that they are in fact separate from their own mother. But the one source that I found right here is at lifesitenews.com, 12 amazing facts that 12 amazing facts that prove the unborn child's humanity in the first trimester. And it goes further as to say not just at 13 weeks, but at 6 weeks. Number 7, brain waves are detected at 6 weeks. A preborn baby's brain waves can be measured at just 6 weeks. See the brain waves for yourself here. It's linking to a damn it, I'm losing my train of thought. Linking to another source here. EHD. www.ehd.org. Talking about brainwaves.
Could you send this through Hangouts? I think Hangouts has screen share, but I don't know how the hell that works.
Wait. Okay, it's quoting from apparently this ehd.org web. Oh, okay. You want me to send it through Hangouts? 1 second here. I'm going to have to go through my computer to do that. I haven't fully figured out my smartphone, so I won't be able to, won't be able to, link you through it, my smartphone. 12 amazing facts that prove the unborn child's humanity in the first trimester. Please go to that website. My computer is not exactly the fastest. I mean, and the fact that I'm doing a live stream right now is kind of slowing it down as well.
If I had a computer, I'd be doing my S-Man Live thing through Hangouts. But if the webcam was shit, then I'd have my I wouldn't have a webcam on.
Okay. All right. Yeah, this one article is talking about the LifeSite News article. Okay. Yeah, I found the original article right here. The Endowment for Human Development. That's the full name of this website that LifeSite News quotes. www.ehd.org. The Endowment for Human Development, and I guess it's quoting from a movie. Let me see if I can share the link through Hangouts.
Yeah.
Enter chat message or link here. There. And it's like a snippet from a movie, I guess.
Yeah.
From the biology of prenatal development. So LifeSite News is sourcing to ehd.org. ehd.org is citing from the biology of prenatal development. I guess it's a full movie that you can buy. Let me try to search up the original article.
Yeah.
That I found.
I guess if you and I were to do another live stream, I guess I'll find some non-copyrighted music or something, or find something to cover up dead air or something. I got that idea from a debate I watched. I actually watched before the stream. It's a couple years old. It's from one of Ward Corpse's debates. He played a song, and that song was like, even though it was like 5 minutes, it was a pretty good song. And I was like, that's a good idea if you don't have anything to say, is just have something to cover up the dead air. You know.
Right.
And Twitch streamers have done it too. They'll have, when they're doing their podcasts and everything.
You have a little brother or little sister back there?
Yeah. Got a sec.
Okay. I think this was the original article that I found this out from.
Yeah. I'll be right back. I actually got to use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. I'll be waiting here.
All right.
All right.
So you found the article, right?
Yep. Trying to find I found the article that I think I originally got it from, but well, okay. This is one of the articles. Like a few years back, not a few years back, a year back, I tried to research the humanity of an unborn child, and there were a few articles that I stumbled across. This is not the specific article where they were citing that 13 weeks is when brain waves were detected, but it says here in the paragraph, it is all about basic science, backed up in medical textbooks that include Moore and Persaud's The Developing Human, Larson's Human Embryology, Carlson's Human Embryology and Developmental Biology, and O'Rahilly and Mueller's Human Embryology and Teratology. Robert George M.D. had this to say in his book, Embryo. Human embryos, whether they are formed by fertilization, natural or in vitro, or by successful somatic cell nuclear transfer, SCNT, i.e. cloning, do have the internal resources and active disposition to develop themselves to the mature stage of a human organism, requiring only a suitable environment and nutrition. In fact, scientists distinguish embryos from other cells or clusters of cells precisely by their self-directed integral functioning, their organismal behavior. Thus, human embryos are what the embryology textbooks say they are, namely human organisms, living individuals of the human species at the earliest developmental stage. So I was just reading you a paragraph from the article here. You know what? I'll go ahead and post you the specific link of what I just read. There. Still there? S-Man? S-Man, are you still there? I can't hear you, S-Man. If you're trying to speak right now, I really can't hear you right now. Oh, I picked up some static, but... This might have actually been the article. Still can't hear you, S-Man. I mean, if you're trying to get my attention, this live stream has been going on for a while as well. almost.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. But
I don't know what's going on with my mic on my phone. It's not working, but my I was saying that
I'm hearing myself. Could you put on some headphones or something?
that's kind of the problem. If I put them on my what I recommend, like, can you mute yourself?
Can I mute myself?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out all the controls.
Anyway, to answer your thing about the whole abortion thing, as I've said before, I don't have all that much of an opinion on it. It's just because I don't believe in sex before marriage for health reasons and somewhat, I'd say, moral reasons. Not because of God, just it's complicated,
Right.
but I think that you should have a permanent partner or like be married and then have sex. It's just because so if you're pregnant, you don't get like multiple people pregnant, and you don't risk getting a disease as likely as someone who sleeps around with a lot of people. I don't believe in shaming people who do sleep around with a lot of people. It's just they're putting their health at risk. But that'd be my thoughts on it.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna retry entering the Hangout on my phone. Maybe the mic might work. So.
Okay.
Let's try this confusion again. So I'm gonna hang up real quick and then re-enter.
Hello, you back?
Yeah, it's not working on my phone this time. It's I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, it's not gonna work on the phone. So I guess for the rest of this stream, I'm just gonna have to use my tablet for it. But it didn't fail me in my first debate though. The audio was actually pretty decent for it.
Okay.
So I'm assuming this is your test stream was your first stream on your channel, right?
Yep. I was just damn it. Wonder what happens if I hit mute microphone.
Then I can't hear you if you were to say anything after that. If you muted your microphone, you could mute me, but then I had the ability to unmute myself.
Right.
Um,
I'm almost thinking that maybe we're gonna have to end this soon.
Yeah, I don't have really anything else to say. But it was good, shooting the shit with you and talking.
Yep.
And I don't consider this all that much of a debate. Huh?
My own voice is distracting me.
Um, but it was good shooting the shit with you and everything. We might not agree, and I'm not really labeling this a debate or anything, but this was a good conversation. And I don't get those who don't like debates. It does feel good to have a point of view or another opinion. I went to the first debate because I was starting to think that I'm in an echo chamber, and I don't believe in echo chambers. So to not have a double standard, I said to him one day, "Hey, I don't agree with you on this thing. You want to have a chat about it?" And then for almost 4 hours, we talked about it, various other politics, feminism, and everything. And then it was all just because of a comment thread about feminism. I'm like, okay, this looks like something we could have a good conversation about. So why not have a debate about it? See how that goes.
Okay, here is another link to another website.
I'm gonna enter Hangouts and see if I can see that link.
All right. I think I'm going to take off my headphones right now. All right. I cannot find the original. I can't find the original article that I found that said 13 weeks was when brainwaves are detected.
Oh, that's fine. Like, if you do find it, then like after the stream or something, then yeah, like send me a link to it afterwards. Also, I tried a test stream on my friend's computer once, and I tried to click on a video and see if it's possible to use Hangouts to make a response. It got me out of the Hangout, and I couldn't get back in, so I had to delete the event and create a new one, and I was so pissed about that. But I don't have that computer now, so I can't do a Hangout stream. But yeah, that's like all I really have to say about abortion and everything. But
Okay.
yeah, as always, it was good chatting with you and everything. Who did your avatar, by the way?
Actually, I animated my own pictures. Like, I just took a picture of my real face on a few of them, and then I just pulled up the paint program, and I basically sketched over them. That's how I got all the animated pictures of my face.
That's genius.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, the way I did it, I just I had myself step on a blue screen. Not the best idea when you got blue sunglasses, but still, they look black from far away. And I was wearing what I'm wearing, and then in that picture you see, and that's how I did mine. But yeah, that's how I did my profile picture.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you know how to customize your channel so it has a layout of your videos and like playlists and stuff? And
yeah, I know how to create playlists.
No, I mean like customize the layout where it has it in different sections and everything.
Oh, okay. I don't know exactly how to do that.
Oh, well, like when I first created my channel, it had how yours is. I think near your name or something. I don't know. There's tutorials all over YouTube on how to do that, but I just checked out your Social Blade to see like how old the channel was, and it's like 2014 or something. But yeah,
yeah, there's a little story. Oh man, I cannot get past my own voice.
No, your voice sounds fine.
No. I mean, there's a slight couple-second delay on it, and the only way that I can really focus on what I'm saying is if I take off these damned headphones so I don't end up hearing my own voice and have a 2-second delay on what I'm saying.
Yeah, if you want to take off the headphones, then I'd do that. So my channel, I guess, is about a year younger than yours. So I assume you've been on here for about 3 years or something.
Well, actually, the original purpose that I had for this YouTube channel was I was kind of wanting to make like a live-action war series. Like, I have 3 videos that are complete and utter shit, and they aren't really worth watching. I just made them private, and then about a year later, after I made the third live action video, the live action war video, I made a response video to War Corps 666, believe it or not, on defund Planned Parenthood. Kind of pissed me off on some of the points that he made, and that was kind of the moment that I unsubscribed from him. And then another year later, I resubscribed to him. But then 2016 election came around, and I wanted to do videos again.
Yeah.
The first ever video that I did, the commentary video that I did that actually had some response to it, some views, was a response video to Now This on illegal immigration. And then it just took off from there.
Yeah. I was just in an airport one day, and one of my relatives, she's saying that I should get on like Facebook or something. And I just said I'll create a Google account, and then a few days afterwards, I created this YouTube channel. And I used to do compilations of videos I found on the YouTube video editor, which were garbage, and I took down. And then I started, having a bunch of opinions. I mean, I'd do the research, of course, and then I just use my phone to film them. Whoever films videos vertically shouldn't be allowed to live, but I thought that, I just put it out there, but of course do the research. And nowadays I completely, edit my videos. There's not really one that's raw, unless it's a live stream, then it's going to be edited. But ever since the 2016 election, I've actually, from October of 2015, since the election started to get a lot of heat, up until like January, I actually was starting to get about 2,000 or 3,000 views a month, which is such a growth, and it was great. And honestly, those were some good times, because a lot of cringe from triggered liberals over Trump's election. It felt great to swim in a river of tears. I think I did see your videos on War Corps 666 though. The only thing
those videos aren't really worth watching either, because I kind of rambled on a lot. I still ramble on a lot these days, but those days were those videos were more off the cuff than what I do now.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't like about the response was the fact that the editing logo was covering up most of the video. Right. That's the one thing I don't like about
that's when I had merely the free trial version of Wondershare, regular Wondershare, before they had Wondershare for more. Then I bought Wondershare, and then they dropped that, and I got Wondershare for more. Bought that, and now there's no watermark.
Yeah, and with Power Director, at least it doesn't cover the video. It's just in the corner, but sometimes it's annoying. But it does have a lot of cool effects for an editing program you can get on your phone or something. So that's like one thing that's worth it.
One question that I want to ask you before we end this. How old are you?
I'm actually gonna turn 16 in several months. How old are you?
Damn! You're a teenager and you're this successful? You're more successful than me? That's not fair. Spread the subscribers a little bit. I'm taking the Owen Macdonald mentality right now. You have to give me some of your subscribers.
When I first debated him, he had like less than 20 subs. Now he has like 300, so.
Yeah, I'm 22.
Ah.
I, for some reason, thought that you were 18, at least 18 or 19, but you're only 15, man?
Yeah, I'll be 16 in a couple months, and, I can't remember what video, I had 80 subs around December, and then I made a rant about when Barring's channel got shut down, and on December 10th, several days later, I had 100 subscribers, and I felt like king of the world. Good times. But, and then other channel growths, I guess, was because of my rants about Onision and his weird shit. to any YouTube feminist, I think I have I have respect for all of them for one reason. Unlike Onision, they didn't debate a sock on their channels. But yeah, it's been fun shooting the shit with you, and I'll definitely pitch the idea to Owen to to see how you two would handle a debate. And because a lot of your opinions conflict with his, I think you guys would probably have a good conversation.
Yeah.
But may I ask you a question?
Sure.
May I put this stream on my channel when yours is done?
Oh no, by all means.
Yeah, I always just ask the person before, just so there's no problem with it.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. So I guess, is this like your longest video or something?
Yep.
I remember before YouTube limited their editing program to 1 hour. My longest video for a long time was just an hour and a half, and I was like, that's good.
Oh.
But my proudest video ever was on that Riley J. Dennis dude. He blocked me from Twitter. It was great.
Yeah, check out my AJ Plus response video part 2. That's my most successful rant/response video yet.
My most successful video, like response or rant, was like the response was at 500 views. It had 16 likes and 9 dislikes, but it was worth it. It's also my most viewed live stream, so. But my most viewed video response that wasn't live, it was the one responding to the whole "your dating preferences are discriminatory," and because of that, Riley banned me from his Twitter, but I did get 21 good likes, and it was great. I had that as my channel trailer for a while, and a lot of people that know me are like, "Dude, you were kind of harsh in that." And I'm like, you know. But that's the good part about YouTube is sometimes you'll hit a stroke of success, and then then you'll fall back into obscurity because we all make up the backbone of YouTube, but we still at the same time leave like a thumbprint on the site, and then there's a select few that are pretty visible to the public.
Well, I have nothing more to say, and I'm tired of hearing my own voice, like, delayed 2 seconds after I actually speak. I can only imagine how the after recording will sound. So, if anyone out there of S-Man Speaks audience wants to check out a pro-liberty dork myself who just animates his own pictures of his own face like a loser, well then check out my own channel.
I'll leave a link to your channel and your AJ Plus response, just so they can have like a sample of your content in my description. But to everyone who listened, thank you for listening, and I'm S-Man Speaks, and I'll speak to you all next time. But
thanks
for having me on.
Conversation, S-Man.
Of course.
All right, and you have a good night.
You too, man.